Succeed in the new Virginia economy, we have a responsibility to use taxpayer dollars wisely to ensure that there are jobs waiting for them when they graduate. I know we all agree that we should strengthen how our Commonwealth serves taxpayers with respect to economic development. I'm proud of the record-breaking successes that we have had bringing new jobs and economic activity to Virginia. However, if we are going to truly build a new Virginia economy, we must use every single dollar to its greatest impact, creating jobs and opportunity. Since it was created nearly 22 years ago, the Virginia Economic Development Partnership has served our Commonwealth's primary economic development driver. There are many hardworking men and women at VEDP, but as a recent JLARC report identified, the organization is in need of stronger management and accountability. Reforming VEDP should not be a partisan issue. Its problems have persisted over the terms of 5 previous governors and 21 General Assembly sessions. I am ready to work with you to ensure that Virginia's economic development infrastructure is delivering the return on investment that taxpayers have a right to expect. Making Virginia the best home to veterans and military families is another area of significant bipartisan achievement over the course of the last 3 years. The budget that I propose to you will expand the success that we have had connecting veterans with jobs through our V3 program. I am proposing a 2-year pilot to assist veteran entrepreneurs who want to start companies in high-growth sectors. We can also direct our social service agencies to better coordinate with military authorities in the cases of family abuse and neglect of military children. These initiatives will strengthen our Commonwealth's position as the best place on earth for veterans and military families to call their home. Last year, we worked together on a historic bipartisan package to keep guns out of the hands of domestic abusers and people who could not pass background checks. I want to thank Todd Gilbert for the great work in assisting us there. Let's give Todd a great round of applause. There goes his career. I'm only teasing, come on. The legislation that we passed included the first meaningful restrictions on dangerous gun ownership in a generation and showed the rest of the world that common sense compromise is possible on this issue. This year, we have an opportunity to strengthen the domestic violence protection law, which is already the toughest in America, by expanding it to include non-family abuse orders as well as permanent protective orders. This change, which is being sponsored by Senator Janet Howell and Delegate Kathleen Murphy, would keep more Virginians safe from gun crime. Additionally, let us go ahead and make 2017 the year that we make universal background checks for firearm sales the policy of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Over the years, we've also worked together productively to reform our Commonwealth ethics system. The reforms that we passed, including a cap on gifts that could be accepted from lobbyists, have contributed to a new culture of accountability here in Richmond that reinforces Virginia's worldwide reputation for clean and well-run government. This year, I propose that we ban the personal use of campaign funds. There is room for honest disagreement on many ethical issues, but we should all be able to agree that political contributions should be spent informing voters and not in lining politicians' pockets. Any effort to build a stronger economy and society must begin with us giving as many Virginians as possible a full voice in that society. Unfortunately, here in Virginia and across the nation, too many laws have been passed that are designed to restrict access to democracy rather than to expand it. When it was passed, our photo ID law made it significantly harder for many Virginians to vote without any evidence that voter fraud is a problem here in Virginia. And so this year, I hope that we will repeal that law. I will also submit legislation this session to allow non-excuse in-person absentee voting and to add a new excuse for absentee by mail for child caregivers. These reforms are based on a simple principle, that Virginia is strongest when we are working together to make it easier to vote, not harder. For the past 3 years, our work together has been seen far more by the bipartisanship that we have done together than divisive battles. We are not always going to agree. That's what a democracy is all about. While political fights rage in Washington, we've proven time and time again that Virginia is a place where leaders can still work together to get things done. In fact, over the past 2 sessions, we have worked together to pass 72% of the initiatives that I presented to you. And I sincerely thank all of you for that. We can build on that record this year, but only if we remain focused on the issues that are most important to Virginians. As we begin our work together this session, our neighbor, North Carolina, remains mired in a divisive and counterproductive battle over laws its legislature passed that target the rights of LGBT citizens. As we have seen that state and others, attacks on equality and women's health care rights don't just embarrass the states that engage in them, it kills jobs. Since North Carolina legislature passed HB 2 and their former governor signed it, the state has lost out on millions in economic activity and thousands of jobs as organizations like Deutsche Bank, PayPal, the NBA, the NCAA have withdrawn investments in that state. At the same time, Virginia has taken a different approach. Over the past 3 years, we've worked to send a message to the families and the job creators all over the globe that our Commonwealth will not tolerate discrimination against anyone, including our friends and neighbors in the LGBT community. This year, Virginia competed directly with North Carolina for the CoStar Group's new research headquarters. And we started out with a severe disadvantage when North Carolina put an incentive package on the table that was 3 times the size of ours here in Virginia. But in the end, Virginia's open and welcoming business climate trumped North Carolina's attacks on equality, and CoStar is bringing 732 new high-paying jobs right here to Richmond, Virginia. And so tonight, I am simply asking for your assistance to help us bring more co-stars to Virginia rather than turning them away. First, I want to make it very clear that I will veto any legislation that discriminates against LGBT Virginians or undermines the constitutional health care rights of our Virginia women. I am 71-0 on veto override votes. And folks, I'm ready to keep my streak alive. But I hope you will deny me the opportunity by simply restraining from sending to me things that are counterproductive to what we're trying to do with the business community. Second, we must protect and enhance our business climate by erasing division and discrimination from our code and our Constitution. After a landmark ruling by the United States Supreme Court, in which our Attorney General Mark Herring played a central role, marriage equality is now the law of our land.